John Fredericks, he's America's Godzilla of truth. All week long, he's world-renowned for his proficient proclivity to prophesy the people's political picks with pinpoint precision.
Yeah, baby.
Then, on the weekends, he gets with the guys that are pretty wise, and Godzilla wins. Godzilla Wins, the sports picking show for winning dough. Money lines, parlays, over-under, the best plays. You choose the game, Godzilla picks the winners. Get expert analysis, exclusive insights, and have a little fun. When the game is on your mind and money's on the line, Godzilla Wins is your guide to picking winners. Godzilla Wins, on the screens of your TV and favorite devices, commanding radio airwaves far and wide. Before you make that play, hear what the Godzilla crew has to say. Presented by WestVirginiaSportsNation.com, it's time for Godzilla Wins, all across the John Fredericks Media Network. Oh yeah,
for entertainment purposes only.
Good morning. You're listening to the Godzilla Wins Saturday show right here on the John Fredericks Radio Network. With that being said, we're on the John Fredericks Radio Network. We do have some huge international news that we'd be remiss if we did not bring that up. Venezuela President Maduro captured and flown out of country after U.S. strikes, says Trump. John, I'm going to kick it right to you for that so you can speak on that.
I'll do the translating here.
The mic isn't working.
John, you're not on.
So while we're waiting for John, I could read the statements from President Trump and Vice President Vance if you guys want to kick it off that way.
Yeah.
All right. So President Trump put on Truth Social, the United States of America has successfully carried out a large-scale strike against Venezuela and its leader, President Nicolas Maduro, who has been, along with his wife, captured and flown out of the country. This operation is done in conjunction with U.S. law enforcement. Details to follow. There will be a news conference today at 11 a.m. at Mar-a-Lago. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Excuse me. And do we have John yet?
Yeah. You guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, Brendan just read the statements from Trump from Truth Social.
Listen, the bottom line here, guys, and this is a sports show, Godzilla Wins, but we have international breaking news. You just can't ignore it like it didn't happen. The first and most important thing here is this is what we voted for. As far as I'm concerned, as a MAGA supporter and a Trump supporter, we voted for decisive leadership and America first. Those that are going to complain that this is not America first, this is not about regime change, right? He's not installing a new regime. This is about putting American kids first. This guy, Maduro, is a drug kingpin gangster. He exported this Trans-Diagua gangs into the United States. They've been responsible for countless murders, terrorizing people. The number of drug overdoses of fentanyl that have harmed our kids in this country is beyond the pale of whatever could have been imagined. Wherever it came from doesn't matter. It was getting exported in the United States by Venezuela. That was how they're making their money. And so President Trump had enough and put a stop to it. And look, he's going to get a lot of criticism from the Marjorie Taylor Greens of the world and those others, Massey, about what America First means. America First means taking care of our kids and leadership. And I think that in this early morning strike is what the president did. And I think he's bringing Maduro. I think he's been indicted already in the Southern District of New York. Him and his wife are going to stand trial. And this is what leadership is. This stuff has been going on forever. We haven't done a damn thing about it. And finally we have.
All right, we're going to do our best here to kick it over to the sports side. Keep it light, but stay on the John Fredericks Radio Network for all the latest and breaking news on this today. But again, you're listening to the Godzilla Wins Saturday show. This is a gambling show, so let me do the disclaimer real quick. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537. That's Colorado, Illinois, Indiana, Louisiana, Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, and Wyoming. 1-800-327-5050 or visit gamblinghelpline.ma.org in Massachusetts. Call 877-GHOPE-NY-text HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP if you're in Arizona, 1-800-522-4700 Kansas, and New Hampshire. 1-888-789-777. Visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. 1-800-BETS-OFF in Indiana, or visit opgr.org. Again, this is the Saturday Godzilla Wins Pick Show. I'm your host, Mitch Rogers. We're joined by Trent Connor, John Fredericks, Chris Saxman, Vince Mayoko, Brendan Statler. Little rundown of the show. It's pretty much all football. First hour will be college football. We'll break down the latest in the college playoffs, and we'll preview the college playoff games coming up. The Final Four for the college has been a little shakeup as some of the blue bloods and some of the people that we thought were going to be in are not in. It looks like it's going to be pretty exciting. In the second hour of the show, we'll break down all the NFL, a little bit of last week's games, and then obviously a full slate of action coming at you today and tomorrow for the NFL, and a lot of playoff implications on the line. But first, gentlemen, we have gone through a playoff where some of the Georgias, there's no – we've got some fun stuff. What it was, Brendan, I think you texted it to our group yesterday, or someone texted it. You have Miami, who has been relevant since the mid '90s. You have Ole Miss, who has a chip on the shoulder. Oregon, who's always been been right at the doorstep and hasn't made it. And then, which one am I missing? I'm so excited. Wow, what's the fourth one? Who am I missing? Yes,
Indiana,
the number one team, the biggest story in all of sports. All right, sorry, a little flustered to start today. Chris, how are you today? Renegade Rant was really fun. I had a lot of fun with that. We will talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Sunday Night Football game a little bit down the line here. But what are your initial thoughts on the this round of the football playoffs for college?
It's the beginning of the end of the dominance of the SEC. Actually, it's not the beginning. It's the continuation of its decline against the Big Ten and other moneyed universities out there. I think Indiana's going to sweep. I think they're going to go undefeated. It's an amazing story, but the underlying story here is that Georgia's not there. Alabama's not there. The big ones just aren't there anymore going forward for the SEC because other universities are competing on this NIL transfer portal platform that has changed the landscape of college athletics, not just football. So it just means more. We can all laugh about it, but this doesn't mean that much more in the SEC because the other universities are paying to play, and it's showing. And this is what the free market forces do for competition and performance. It's a good thing.
Vince, we love to overreact. Is this true? Is the SEC, as we know it, done? Is there anything they can do? They have no money over there. They can never figure this out, right?
Well, I wouldn't bury the SEC quite yet. But I do think what it's going to do is going to give teams, as we saw this year, even though they didn't make the playoffs, how Vanderbilt became a big-time program this year. So you're going to see more teams maybe like you let in before, the blue bloods may not have the upper hand that maybe some of these other teams do. And you get a couple rich alumni that have big-time money and look no further than what's going on at Michigan State. What's happening at BYU with the Mormon Church, and you just wonder, will the Catholic Church get involved with Notre Dame and other programs like that as well too? So you're going to see more big time money spent to really bring their football program into the 2026 era of college football as we see it now.
Brendan, it's about to get biblical. It's going to be the Crusades. We're going to be able to do it all through college football. This is going to be amazing. Okay, overreaction, right? John said the Big 12's over. I mean, Texas Tech ran through the Big 12. Seems they could score and do anything they wanted against any Big 12 team. They run into Oregon, and they can't even put up a field goal, a safety, nothing. They can't do anything. What's going on there with Texas Tech? Is Oregon that good?
Big 12, big. No, this is a team that James Madison University, a couple seasons removed from not even being in FCS football, 4 or 5 seasons removed, ran up 504 yards. So don't be telling me about Oregon's defense, right? You got 500 yards. So look, this exposed the Big 12 as a fraud football conference. That's all it did. I mean, they're not even in the same. They're not even in the same area code as these elite teams. It's a fraud conference. Maybe I think basketball is different, baseball is different. But when you get to football, I mean, that game was a complete joke. Texas Tech was never in the game ever. And look, they have a great defense, no question about it. They just wore down at the end, but they couldn't get in the red. I don't think they got in the red zone, but one time maybe? I mean, that was such a beatdown of a Big 12 championship. And this was a team that people on this show, like the old ball coach here, said had a shot to go all the way. They couldn't even get a field goal. It exposes the conference for the fraud football they're putting on the table.
Come on, John. Brendan, they had 26 days off. No school can overcome that and then win a game. You can't.
Indiana did.
Yeah, Indiana did, and honestly, I don't care how many days they had off. That was a terrible performance by Texas Tech. If it wasn't for Texas Tech's defense, because their defense did play lights out. If their defense did not play at the level they did, they would have lost the game 63-0. I mean, it's amazing that it was not more of a blowout than it was. They couldn't do anything right on the offensive side of the ball.
No, they couldn't. Trent, talk about not being able to do anything right on the offensive side of the ball. We have a team that benched their Heisman candidate quarterback. You saw the Alabama lose 38-3, just got destroyed. That's something we're not used to seeing. But if you'd watched Alabama this season, it didn't seem like it came out of left field. They've had some ups and downs, and when they played some quality competition, they've struggled, and they've had to come back a lot. This time they didn't come back.
Yeah, Ty Simpson has had a up and down year for sure. He's struggled in games, and he's looked like a Heisman winner in games. So it's not really a surprise. And as far as college football going forward, I think scouting is going to be one of the biggest factors. Just like Indiana with Mendoza this year, they hit the transfer portal, got Mendoza from Cal, and that's because they saw something that fit into their program, into their scheme, and look how it's working out. I think scouting is one of the biggest factors a program can have moving forward.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and right now, and you talked about the transfer portal, and obviously Ole Miss upsets Georgia, Ole Miss with the Lane Kiffin story. And right now, the transfer portal is opening up as we speak. They're still going through theirs. Kiffin is probably going to be taking players from that team. Their staff doesn't even know what to do right now because they are going to be loyal and go to him eventually, and now he has to let them stay at the same school. Chris, what do you think about this transfer portal happening during the playoffs, and then obviously the Lane Kiffin situation where that intertwines a lot of those storylines all together about what a problem that is if something like this happens?
Well, they've got to regulate this more heavily. You cannot have transfers or the conversation going on during the playoffs. It doesn't happen in the NFL. It doesn't happen in the Major League Baseball. It doesn't happen in the NHL. This is a professional sport now, and it has to be regulated as such. The NCAA has to get in the game or just get out of football and basketball. They're just not equipped to handle what's going on in the sports right now. It's unconscionable that you have a coach leave his team in the middle of the playoffs, and now they're in the Final Four of the football championships and have a legitimate shot to win. I don't think they will, but they have a legitimate shot. It has to be more heavily regulated. They have to change the calendar. It's long overdue. It's damaging the game, and the college football is on the precipice of greatness. And the NCAA has to figure out that they are not the most important element in this game anymore. And SEC, Big Ten, they don't need the NCAA, and the NCAA needs to figure it out and start regulating this thing more heavily.
The other thing, Chris, is opening up the transfer portal while the playoffs are still going on.
It's horrible.
I mean, you've got one backup quarterback. I can't remember who are the team, but basically he had to make a decision to leave the team to go to another team so he could get better playing opportunity right in the middle of the playoffs in the next season. Mm-hmm. So it's disruptive to the teams that are in there. The whole thing is asinine. Whoever set this up never thought anything through. I mean, I get the transfer portal. Kids should have the opportunity to make money, go to different teams, get a better opportunity, depending on what their conference rules are. And they're all different. That's the other thing. And they're never going to be able to streamline that because of the academic end of it. But when you've got, a quarterback saying, look, I got to make a decision now on my next season, even though we're in the playoffs, because, I'm going to be the backup quarterback here, and I'm going in my junior season, I like to win a championship. And if something happens to my quarterback, I'm there. But I got to think about myself. I don't blame him for that. I blame the NCAA for putting that backup quarterback in that situation.
Yeah, they can wait until March. I don't know what the calendar is so compressed that they have to do. They open it up now
because you got to register for classes January 12th.
Oh, they're still
okay. Back it up. Okay, and I knew this was coming. Bravo, Sierra. These kids are not there to go to classes.
You can't. This is still college. Chris is still getting an education, man.
It's a facade. It's a facade.
Well then, make it minor league football like baseball.
That's what it is. That's what
you can't do that, Chris. We are so opposite of that. You can't do that.
It's what it is.
To get it. Not every one of them is going to go to the NFL and make hundreds of millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands.
Can I jump in here, guys?
This is college football. It's not minor league.
Yeah, Nick Saban brought up a good point a couple days ago. I don't know if it was on one of the pregame shows, but he talked about how, let's be honest, college football is the AAA version of the NFL, and it needs to mirror what the NFL does. And he suggested delaying the transfer portal until May, when classes end in the spring semester, to basically what John is saying. Believe it or not, the University of Oregon, their winter session starts this next Monday. So yeah, kids, even though we like to think it's just football, but they still have to be enrolled in classes and go to classes, be eligible. So this transfer portal right now is the wrong time. It needs to happen in late April, early May, and then mirror what the NFL does as far as training camps and all that.
I agree. And do you think they're looking at this LSU Lane Kiffin situation as a case study? Because right now they have the nightmare situation going on right before them right now. And then what do you do here, Coach Vince? What if you're Lane Kiffin right now, like with your assistants, you let them stay, right? I mean, you're not gonna one away. And then but one thing I wanted to bring up was which is kind of funny, Brendan. I'll let you jump in on this. Indiana, while everyone's jumping on the bandwagon, most people, because they haven't really followed him, just think Mendoza's been there for 2 years. I've even heard announcers screw up when they talk to him, when they interview him. He goes, "Oh no, this is my first year." So in this crazy where Indiana has just become something the last 2 years, they already have a new superstar Heisman quarterback. That's how quick everything flips upside down in Indiana in their 2-year meteoric rise. Already has a quarterback that people are like, "What? Really? You just jumped on this bandwagon?" Brendan, what do you think the state of football? And then I'm not going to forget about Miami. We'll give Miami its due against Ohio State as well. But I thought that Indiana situation is pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's a unique situation. I mean, I thought that this was his first year as well, but I mean, the way everybody's talking about him, I mean, it's hard to believe that everything he has accomplished at this point has all been done in 1 year. I mean, that. Best quarterback in college football, hands down, very deserving of the Heisman. And I don't see anybody stopping this team. And it's really because of his performance at quarterback.
Hey, you know what? Hey, correct me if I'm wrong in this, guys. All 4 quarterbacks that are left in the party are all transfer portal kids. And this is the first year at each program, I believe. Moore at Oregon was at UCLA. Obviously, Mendoza was at Cal. The quarterback with Ole Miss was at a Division II school last year. And where does that leave me with Carson Beck, who was at Georgia last year at the University of Miami?
Everyone is the first-year transfer starter. I mean, it's amazing.
It is. It is. And really, it's kudos to those 4 kids because they have to learn the playbook in a short amount of time. And for them to do that is quite impressive as well, too.
I thought Beck played for Tom Osborne in Nebraska. He's been around for a while.
He may have.
Here forever. Trent, no one's talking about Miami. Something feels right. I'm a 90s kid. That's when I went to college. Miami, West Virginia, Big East rivals. Something about the U, who I can't stand. But there's something about college football when the U is relevant. And Michael Irvin, somehow at 60 years old, has a six-pack. He's ripped up. He's taking his clothes. He's back on all the stuff. By the way, Michael Irvin, allegedly, you're back on all this stuff, flying high. But Miami's back, and it feels like it's good for college football. What do you think?
Yeah, the Miami defense is getting back to its roots of wreaking havoc on quarterbacks, and I said it last week that Miami had to get after this quarterback for Ohio State if they wanted to win this game, and they had, I think they had 5 sacks, and that pick six they got in and pressured the quarterback and altered that throw, which led to a 14-0 lead. So this Miami defense is right up there with Indiana right now in terms of their defense and being one of the best in the nation. They haven't been that way all season, the way Indiana has, but they are peaking at the right time, and they are going to be a force to be reckoned with going forward.
Chris, you're old school. I know you love Miami. Bring on the U, right? Bring on the chain, the turnover chain, bring all the slag.
I don't give a damn. Look, I mean, this is blocking and tackling. I love watching Indiana because they block and they tackle.
Boring.
Okay, look, Miami has one legitimate rival in the ACC, and that's Virginia Tech. And Virginia Tech is a doormat right now. If they come back and that rivalry surfaces, then you could have some serious, looks at the ACC nationally. And Franklin's going to bring in a lot more talent to Blacksburg. That's a good thing. That's a good thing for the ACC. But all in all, going back to the first comments that we had here, the leveling of the talent in college football is extraordinary. And I think it's an exceptional amount of change that's occurring in college football. You look at the Final Four, no one predicted these guys in the Final Four coming into this season. No one. I don't think one of them would have been picked to be in there. And I think that shows the evolution of the game and the competitive nature. That's what's going on in college football right now, because teams are able to pay above the table, not below the table in the SEC. Down south was where the money was being exchanged under the table, and now it's above board, and that's a good thing for college sports.
I'm going to throw this up there, John. I'll throw it out to you. There's something that's bothering me. Why is this college football season not ending for 2 weeks from now? And also, I think these teams that have bye weeks should get a home game. Like Texas Tech should have had a home field advantage, not the team the week before that didn't play well enough to earn the bye. But can't they start this, John? I'm going to you because you had a good comment. FCS and Division II figured this out. They just started earlier, like right after Thanksgiving break. We have a game, and then all of a sudden we're ending around New Year's. Could we expand
it to 16? Nobody gets a week off. The first 8 teams get a home field in the first game. You get rid of the conference championships, which have become a joke. I mean, they don't mean anything, and half the kids don't want to play in them. They're all focused on the playoffs. I think under football's got it right. Go to 16, start the games early. Let's go. Nobody gets a week off, and the top 8 teams get a home field. That's what they need to do. This thing is strung out way too long. Mm-hmm. And look, 3 out of 4 this season, and 4 out of 4 last season. So you got 7 out of the last 8 teams that have had this 25-day layoff have all gotten beat. I mean, this is not happenstance, right? And the gamblers are going to start catching up with this. I don't think they have in this past season, but they're going to start catching up with this. They need to expand this thing to 16, get rid of who's in, who's out. It becomes a lot cleaner, a lot clearer, and start these games earlier, just like you said, and go through it. The fact that we've got another 3 weeks before, or 2.5 weeks before we get to the championship game is stupid. Let's just go, get them done, get it over with, and play some football. But to the other point, a year ago with this NIL, we were all saying the dominance of the SEC would destroy college football. They had all the money, all the teams, they got all the players. Sure. They were going to dominate. There'd be nothing else. It would all be SEC. That has not played out because other teams have been able to, other organizations in college have been able to figure out, how to get NIL money and how to get good players and a better fit for them and good for them. So when you guys started and said it's the dismantling of the SEC is the one all be all, you guys nailed it, and that's a good thing.
Brandon, they were not counting on Morgantown Highs alone. WVU alumni Kurt Cignetti to just come in and put a wrecking ball to everything. I mean, SEC down. Kurt Cignetti was what he's done and the poise that he shows. Now he's becoming a meme because of his facial expressions. I am loving it. He obviously has to take a lot of healthy cell, John. 67. The man's got all of his hair, perfect buzz. I mean, the cut is perfect. I know. I'm rolling my eyes too. I had to shave 20 years ago. Healthy Cell. John, tell everyone about it, and also, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everybody.
Well, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everybody too. And if you're not starting out 2026, we all got to do better health-wise, right? You can always do better health-wise, especially as you get older. He's 67, I'm 67. I went to bed last night at midnight, so very late for me. But Ann and I were watching a movie. I forget what it was. I think it was called The Marksman or something. It was actually not that bad, even though it got banned. So I went to bed late, but man, I popped in that Healthy Cell REM sleep. I went right to bed. As soon as I got up today, I took my multivitamin, give one to Ann when she gets up. Look, it's about getting the right vitamins in you and getting a good night's sleep. I am determined. I got one major thing going on in 2026 with my health, and I am determined to get more sleep. Even though I take REM sleep every night, and sometimes I'm getting 5 or 6, can't operate that way at my age. I'm going to be sure that I get that 7 or 8 hours. I'm going to force myself to bed early if I don't have an event that night. And sometimes if I do, I'm going to have somebody cover for me at 6 a.m. But you need to get sleep, and REM sleep supports all 4 phases. You're going to dream, puts you in that deep REM sleep. You're going to jump up out of bed, ready for the day. You're going to have a great day, and you're going to feel better. Just go to healthycell.com, healthycell.com, promo code Godzilla. You're going to get 20% off. 26 has got to be the year where you start taking care of your body.
Absolutely. You're listening to the Godzilla Wins Saturday Pick Show. I'm your host, Mitch Rogers, joined by John Fredericks, Trent Connor, Brendan Statler, Vince Mayoku, Chris Saxman. We have been talking college football playoffs. I will say this, and I know we'll move on, and I'm thinking we probably move on and preview the college games next, and then we'll go to the NFL. We can figure that out. But, Chris, New Year's Day seemed fun again. It seemed like when I was a kid, you woke up on New Year's Day, bowls meant something. It was annoying as hell to my family, my daughters, and my wife. But for me, to be able to staying up a little too late on New Year's Eve and laying on the couch all day long and just rolling games from 12 to 4 to 8. My only complaint was they would end and then I'd have 40 minutes, almost an hour between them, and I had too much in between time. Chris, I like that they're relevant on New Year's Day. I just want it to be maybe one playoff cycle up. Like, I wish it was the Final Four on New Year's Day, but it's exciting to have all those games.
Well, it would be great to have great comment that we should have a Final Four and condense the schedule here, but these colleges need to make the same money the same way the NFL is expanding it to. Indiana could go 16-0.
And the bowls, right? The bowls still need money. Like, they have to think about those guys.
No, they don't. I think the bowls are overrated. I think a lot of these things should go away. I mean, keep the Pop-Tart Bowl, because who doesn't love Pop-Tarts? And that's probably the best bowl out there right now from a nostalgia standpoint. But we really have to meld the bowl system in with the playoffs and just make those bowls mean more, to rip off an SEC line there about it just meaning more. And that has to be part of the mix here in the solution. But yeah, January 1st used to be the bowl game, right? The bowl day. And you just sit around and just watch football. It was like the day after Thanksgiving. You just sat around and watched football. So yeah, it was great. To sit around and just watch football, throw another log in the fire, have a sandwich, take a nap or two, and just chill out and figure out what was going on in the games. It was great. It was much better, and that's part of the solution going forward is making the bowls and putting those into the playoffs.
I bring this up, Coach Vince, because it gives me hope and promise that we can salvage this once great game called NCAA football, because that nostalgia was happening all over the country, I imagine, because there were just some awesome games going all day long. So there's hope, right? We can figure this out. Right, Coach Vince? Give me some.
I absolutely, you can. No question about it. You're going to have to, like we talked about before, closing the portal window and maybe moving it back late spring and all the other stuff that can happen. So I'm going to throw this back at Chris. So are you in favor then? Let's say if they go to 16, so there would be eight games. Would you want to make those 8 games part of the bowl system as well, too, or keep them at home venues?
That's a great question. I do think in the playoffs that neutral sites help just from the game. It's a little unfair for James Madison to have to go to Oregon to play Oregon. I mean, should the James Madison be in the playoffs debatable issue, but they earned it under the system that they have, and they performed well. They got 500 yards on Oregon, but they had to fly across country to do that, and that's a distinct disadvantage. So if you want to go, the NCAA has to make a couple decisions here. Are we going to be relevant, and how are we going to be that way? Otherwise, there's going to be a regionalization of the playoff games, which is fine, and just have the bowl games accordingly. But that requires a dexterity and planning that I don't think the NCAA has or should have at this point. But I think you can meld them into some of these playoff games because of the big ones like the Orange Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, the Cotton Bowl. Those are major sites, and make them what they were back in the day. They were the determination bowls for final rankings. But now that they've expanded the playoff system, I hope they will continue to do so to at least get to 16, because I think James Madison showed that they are a relevant team in the conversation, or that a team who might be ranked 20th has a legitimate shot these days with the leveling of college football. So I think there's a way to get it done. Some of the other bowls, lesser bowls, well, I don't think they have the Poulan Weed Eater Bowl anymore, but some of these bowls, the Bahamas Bowl, not going to make the cut, right? Let's just call it for what it is and start stacking the bowls aligned with the quality of the playoff system.
John,
and you know what? And I like that.
Bahamas Bowl all the time. Isn't that your thing? You like to go to Bahamas and watch sports.
I went last year. I went.
Sorry.
I took my family to the Bahamas last Thanksgiving because WVU basketball was in that Nassau Bahamas tournament, which was a lot of fun. We had so much fun there, no doubt about it. But look, you nailed it. This is why you're the host, Mitch. And by the way, you're doing a super job. You nailed it. New Year's Day was relevant again for football. I mean, it has not been relevant for years. I mean, I'm the same thing, and I know Vince can talk to this. When I grew up, like New Year's Day was it. I mean, you had all the great bowl games, and teams were battling for number one and number. I mean, you had the championship game, you had the Rose Bowl. They all meant something, and then it all went away, and it became like garbage day, and nobody paid attention to it, and that was sad. But now on New Year's Day, we had all these impactful games, and I had so much fun. It was like the old days, and I think it was great for college football. So they did that right. They should keep those big games on New Year's Day, but there's no reason you can't play on Saturday and just align it so you get these New Year's Day games, whatever the date is. I guess next year it'll be on Friday, so you can play Saturday and Friday. It's 6 days. It happens all the time. Like grow a pair. But I love that concept. Hopefully they can straighten it out. But I'm with Mitch here. I thought New Year's Day was so much fun, and I think the first game was at noon, right?
Yeah.
Am I mistaken? So like you get up
9 o'clock where I live.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get up. Well, yeah. I mean that's the best thing about being on the West Coast on Sunday football on Thanksgiving Day, which I've been in Vegas. Is you get up, you have some eggs, and then the Lions are on at 9 o'clock. So that's fun. But it was fun. And get up, you have breakfast with your family, and Joe's like, "Hey, let's put the game on it. Let's put on ESPN." I mean, we just sat there all day. Best thing ever.
Coach Vince, I'm sorry I cut you off. Go ahead, and also this.
I think they should, and I know it's not a perfect situation, but try to make it more regional as well too. For example, like this week, you've got Ole Miss and Miami playing in Arizona. Doesn't Oregon and Indiana, doesn't that seem like that would be a better venue for that matchup? And then you would have Ole Miss and Miami playing in Atlanta. So I think they need to maneuver that as well too. We saw this last week where Oregon played, help me out here, who they play. I'm trying to think. Texas Tech.
Yep.
And I'll be honest, it did not look like the Orange Bowl was sold out.
No, it was not. All the upper tier was empty.
Now, if you move one of the other games and just strategically move it around so it's a little more regional, I think you have a better opportunity putting more butts in seats that way too.
I think that's the way to go in your first round of playoffs. I mean, that's it shouldn't be necessarily seeded, but I think there has to be a regionalization to the seeding, and with if you're going to keep the bowls, and I don't think you necessarily need to. Let's be honest. Especially in the final 8-4-2 games as you go down the Sweet 16, which it'll be called like that in college basketball as well. But there's a way to align it that it means something, and you don't blow up the regionalization but so much. At least if you're going to take two teams from the West Coast, put them somewhere where it matters and have that be the bowl game for that one.
Well, think about it, Chris. In the basketball, you have the West region, the Southeast region, the East region. You could do the same thing with college football too.
Yeah, they can, and you can attempt to, and I think that's an important distinction, and I'm glad you brought that up because sometimes when you see like Duke being the number 1 or 2 seed in the West region, it's a problem, right? But that there's a way to at least have some intentionality to regionalize the bowl games and the playoff system, so that where it makes a little bit more sense than sending Miami to Oregon or Oregon to Boston College or wherever it is. You just can't. You have to have some level of fairness for these college programs.
You do. And Trent, it's putting a puzzle together, right? Because at the same time where I want the teams that have bye weeks to have a home game, that's why I need the schedule to shift, because on January 1st, I want them to be at the bowl. I want them to be playing at those historic venues, not at the home team. So it is a weird place. I want to see the Rose Bowl on January 1st. So we got to keep that happening at all times. Let's break down some of these games. Let's do some early breakdowns of this Final Four that's going to happen, and then we'll kick it over to the NFL. But so we're getting some early lines, and you got Miami and Ole Miss. I mean, who would have thought that one of these two teams is a lock to go play for the national championship? Talk about no one picking much of that. Maybe a lot of people may have had Ole Miss, especially with Lane Kiffin preseason. But right now, you got Miami as a favorite, a 3-point favorite right now. Trent, I haven't gone to you in a while. I'm taking notes here. I'm so sorry. Let's go. We got a large panel. Trent, I'll let you take your first stab over here. Odds makers, I'm looking at the matchup predictor, the loose one on ESPN, barely picking Miami. You got the odds makers have Miami as the early -3 favorite. Do you like that line? You think stays there? Or what's your first initial thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think Miami's finally getting the respect they deserve from the bookmakers. Their defense has been elite, as I said, and Ole Miss, they're the one team in the playoffs currently that their defense hasn't been up to snub with the other 3 teams. Defenses win championships, and I think it's going to prove itself in this game. I think Miami is the better team, and the way Chambliss was scrambling around against Georgia, I think that could be a problem with Miami's front seven, because they have some athletes and they disrupt the quarterback. And he made some great plays, some great throws on the run against Georgia, but I don't know if he can do the same thing against Miami's defense and secondary. They have a very experienced secondary. I think Miami covers this game pretty easily, and that's where a lot of the early money's going, which tends to be sharp money. So I think Miami is the play in this game.
Brendan, he brings up Chambliss. It goes back to the whole transfer portal nil thing. I mean, he's trying to get a medical red shirt based off of something really, really weird, and to try to get his 6th year. But Steelers fans are all watching because could this be the next quarterback that pops out into here? But what's your initial? Chambliss has been amazing. Another transfer portal kid, 4 teams in 4 years. But whatever, I shall digress. This is one of the games I'm looking forward to just because it was so unexpected. What's your thoughts on this early line?
Yeah, I agree with everything Trent said. The fan in me would like to see Ole Miss win in a way just because of the Lane Kiffin situation. But, I mean, it is hard to bet against this Miami team. I mean, they took down A&M. They took down Ohio State in convincing, and both of these games were decisive victories, not blowouts, but their performance was decisive. But, yeah, it's hard to bet against the U right now.
Chris, are you going to go bet against the U? Are you going to have your turnover chain on, watching? What are we doing here? Or Lane Kiffin hat with funny hair?
Well, look, you can bet Chris Saxon's not going to have a turnover chain on during the game. I think that's probably your safest bet of the weekend.
We'll get you one.
I'll give you the wrong shipping address. So look, Miami has given up less than 10 points a game for the last 6 games. That defense is on fire. I think that's the difference maker, as Trent pointed out. Notwithstanding the fact that Ole Miss has some firepower, I think the Ole Miss, if there is an element in the locker room like we're here to shock the world after Lane Kiffin left, I think that runs out against a great defense, and I would take Miami here to cover that spread.
Coach Vince, they also like to run. Miami does too. That's a good mix going into the playoffs, correct?
Yeah, they're a scary team. And hey, where's the Notre Dame outrage right now saying we deserve to be in the playoffs? I think that quieted down pretty quickly, did it not?
I was gonna throw it to that right before break, so no one could ever comment.
Yeah, so there you have it. But no, they picked the right team in Miami. I mean, that was to me, that was a no-brainer. I mean, come on. Miami had beaten Notre Dame early in the year, but boy, as of late, that defense just when you think, wow, they can't play any better, they do. Defensively. Kind of lost in this whole thing, or maybe it's not lost, is I believe if Ole Miss wins, does Lane Kiffin collect another $500,000?
Yes,
right.
He's getting financial incentives every time the Rebs win a playoff game. So
I start loving or hating him more and more every day. I don't know what it is. I don't know.
yeah, it's like
the guy should be a financial planner. I give him that.
He's a Democrat. He fails up, man. It's unbelievable.
He's a leader of men.
He's
right?
a Democrat? No way.
Oh no! Now see, you can't throw that out right before I throw that to John.
He's
No,
not.
he fails up. He fails up.
Is he a Democrat? Really?
Oh
No, I have no idea. I have no idea.
You live in Mississippi. There's like 8 Democrats there.
He just scratched all his notes.
He might be one of the 8, John.
No, he's not a Democrat. But that defensive line, man. I mean, those guys, probably 5 of them could be playing right now on almost any NFL team, either starting or backup. They're really good. And I love what Cristobal has done here when he keeps saying, I built my team from inside out. Mm-hmm. Defensive line, offensive line. That's where I spent all my money. I went from there. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's kind of it's a new, brilliant concept. I mean, it's not new. It's back to the Vince Lombardi days, right? 3 things happen when you throw the football. 2 of them are bad. So I love what he's done. And there's something about seeing Michael Irvin running around the sidelines. I mean, I watch the games for his cameo shots when he gets so excited when they do something great. I don't see Ole Miss beating them. I'm going to lay the 3.
Irvin looks like he wants to put the pads back on.
It's so fun to watch him. It's fun. Guys, look, it's fun when you see other grown men having so much fun. I mean, that's what life's about, right? Gotta have fun. I know we're serious about football and we're gambling on it and all this stuff, but to see him running around like a little kid on the sidelines and, having grown up, watching him with Dallas and how good he was and serious he was. And then this guy is just enjoying life with his team that he loves so much. That, to me, seeing this guy on the sidelines, Vince, is kind of the essence of why we all are sports fans, why we do this, because at the end of the day, it brings the kid out in you. And so you feel good about it. And I just love seeing his unbridled enthusiasm. And then when they do something bad, he's shaking his head and he's all upset and he's mumbling to himself. I mean, it's hilarious. He's having fun.
He's a very, I've met with him to spend a little bit of time with him. He's a very authentic guy. Yes. He brings everything in the most mundane conversation, one-on-one. He's just there. He's in that moment. That's fun to watch.
I think he's there too. I think he's back. I think he took a time machine to the mid-90s, guys. He's a little excitable. People's a little dilated. I'm just throwing it out there.
I think he's taking healthy cell.
He's welcome. Taking a lot of healthy cell. He might be
healthy cell.
Who knows what he's doing with the healthy cell? All right, moving on to the other game.
You're welcome.
Oregon, Indiana. Indiana's been the talk of the town. Everybody has and is picking Indiana. Fernando Mendoza. Every mom wants that to be their son. He is the Heisman. He is the perfect person right now. There's nothing that could go wrong, but this Oregon team is sneaky. Coach Vince, you've watched Oregon for a long time. They've gotten so close.
What's the spread now?
The spread is 4 points.
Only 4.
Only 4. Indiana is favored by 4. I'll let Trent research the sharp money. Coach Vince, what's it like over on the West Coast? Is there some belief that Oregon can pull off this upset? Oh.
I don't, obviously these 2 teams played earlier this year and it was a fairly close game through 3 quarters. And then Indiana laid the hammer down in the 4th. And that was at Eugene, by the way. And this being a neutral site game, which probably there'll be more Indiana fans than Oregon fans at, I would imagine. I'm actually kind of surprised this line isn't higher, to be quite honest. Right. It's hard not to take Indiana in this situation.
It is tough. Brendan, what are you thinking here? Are you sticking with them? Has Oregon got a shot here? No one's giving them a chance.
I mean, they certainly have a shot because they're a good team, but I mean, do I think that anybody's going to take down Indiana this year? No, I think this team's going to run a perfect season.
Trent, perfect season, Indiana football team.
Yeah, this Oregon team was tied with Indiana in the fourth quarter in their first matchup, which I think their defense is playing a lot better. They held Texas Tech to 215 total yards, which could be part of the Big 12 narrative, but Tech was scoring almost 40 points a game this season. So there's something to be said about this Oregon defense, and they kind of seem to be flying under the radar. Everyone's talking about Indiana, Miami, Ole Miss, and Oregon's just kind of there hanging around. The Indiana rushing offense is going to be the difference maker in this game. They looked great against Alabama, but I think Oregon can slow them down a little bit. Right now, the sharp money looks to be on Indiana. They're getting about almost 70% of the money on the spread, which I think is fair. But I think Oregon covers this spread. I think they keep it close. I think Indiana pulls it out in the end because of how good they are. But I would wait to take Oregon closer to game time. But I do like Oregon.
Chris, you can
Trent,
tell.
do you see this line going up at all in the next few days?
Yeah, I would say it goes up to like 4.5, 5.
Yeah,
It's already at 4.5 in some places.
Right.
Because you're going to get people that are going to, if they see Indiana 7 or under, people, just the public is going to bet on that for sure. Just based off of they're the number one story in the nation right now. Chris, do you think that line is fair right now? I mean, you're talking about an Oregon team that just shut out one of the number one offenses in all of the land. That can't look past that.
One of the number one offenses in
Texas Tech.
They gave up 500 yards to James Madison. Where'd Kurt Signetti come from?
He came from Morgantown, but he coached at JMU. I know where you're coming.
Born in Pittsburgh, he's a Yinzer. He's going to be prepared.
Hey, come down.
You need to
Morgantown High School.
Whatever. He was born in Pittsburgh.
All right.
He's got a great accent. We all love it.
He does.
To the game, I love Indiana here because their defense is so strong. They've given up 9 points a game in the last 7 games average. They're just on fire. They're scheming. They're healthy. They're doing what it needs to win games. I think their offense is highly underrated in Indiana. I think they're very efficient. Mendoza is a Heisman winner for a reason, and I think they're going to cover this spread at 4 points. You get up, even go 4.5, 5. I think that's still a good bet for Indiana. They're just rolling right now, and they all feel it. And they punched Oregon in the mouth in Eugene earlier in the year, and they have a lot of confidence in themselves. If you saw on the sidelines during the game over the weekend, one of the announcers made the observation, they're not up and down celebrating and jawing each other and high-fiving and all this kind of stuff. They are all locked in to the next play. That is a highly disciplined team. They're exceptional at tackling and blocking, and that's why I like Indiana.
John Signetti, you could took umbrage to when Alabama did that 4th and 1 where they went on the field, they went off the field, and then all of a sudden they went for it. You could see in his face that he was like, all right, I'm going to take that as a little disrespect, or also I'm going to take that you all are a little bit desperate. But, John, we need Indiana. We need this story. We broke the news this morning. There's just a lot of turmoil and stuff going on in the world. I need a story where the Heisman candidate is just this perfect, clean-cut, all-American boy. Did you see when his brother came in to back up? His mom's like, oh, my God, my boy gets to leave. I don't have to worry about it. Oh, now I got to worry about my other boy. We need this story. I'm rooting for Indiana hard. What about you, John?
Well, the purpose of making a bet is to cash your ticket, right?
True.
And 70% of the money has gone on Indiana, rightly so. But what I'm perplexed about is this 504 yards that they gave up from James Madison. Now I'm starting to think after the Texas Tech game, I'm starting to think that, maybe they just didn't take this team seriously. They didn't really get prepared. They thought it was they were a 22-point favorite. It was kind of a joke. Because I bet against them. I bet Texas Tech on whenever the game was last weekend. I mean, I bet Texas Tech. I think I took 2.5. I was never in that game. They shouldn't have been on the field with them. The defense is better than advertised, and it's very tough to beat a college team at that level two times. There was something about Oregon last week that impressed me. I know Indiana's great, but as Trent said, these teams were tied going in the fourth quarter. I think this game might be closer. I'm going to wait until kickoff. I'm probably going to get 5.5. Like last night, I bet loser. I took what was it? Arizona plus 1.5. When I went to bet the game, DraftKings earlier in the day had it plus minus 1.5 Arizona. It went to minus 1.5 Mustangs. Everybody bet SMU at the end of the game. I didn't, and I got blown out. So I'm gonna wait here to see what happens. But I got a sneaky feeling this game is going to be tighter than people think. I'm likely to bet the underdog here, and I think I'm going to get 5.
Oh man, I think I'm going to go Indiana on my first bet at the -4 right now. You're listening to the Godzilla Wins Saturday Pick Show. We're brought to you by WVSportsNation.com and WV The Torch, and also, and I got to say, and my voice is a little raspy. There's been a lot of sicknesses going around. I went on a little glamping camping trip, and somebody busted out this thing. I looked over, I went at it. It was the wellness company package, John. Like they had it with them. Everybody was feeling a little ill. Some people were taking a little bit from there, but wow. And you talked about a good Christmas gift. Well, that you can tell that's a good Christmas gift. And with all the stuff going on
right here, baby, Ann and I both got sick. I got sick earlier in the week. Opened up my contagion kit. Everything was there. Got my Z-Pack, knocked it out in 2 days, was back on the air on what was it, Friday? No problem, right? Back on the air Friday, was sick the last couple of days, 2 days back, ready to go, and then got sick yesterday. Took out my contagion kit again, had stuff in there. She's going to get better. I've talked to people that have been sick with the same flu, like 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks. 2 days, right? Because you catch it immediately. That's the purpose of the wellness company contagion kit for all the flu, all the viruses out there. Everything is here. All you have to do is go to twc.health/Godzilla, twc.health/Godzilla, promo code Godzilla. You're going to get 10% off. Have all your medications for your flu, and this is flu season, right at your fingertips. Get it early, knock it out early. Don't be on your ass for 2 weeks like all these other people. All right here with the contagion kit from the wellness company, twc.health/Godzilla, promo code Godzilla, 10% off for you and your family. Don't leave home without it.
Listening to Godzilla Wins Saturday show, the first show of the new year. Happy 2026, y'all. I'm your host, Mitch Rogers, joined by Trent Connor, John Frederick, Chris Saxman, Vince Mayoko, Brendan Statler. The first hour we broke down this week's college football playoff games, and we previewed the Final Four that'll be happening next week. Exciting Final Four, not what a lot of people thought. Now we're going to move on a little bit to the NFL. In the second hour, we're going to go through all the picks, but we're just going to break down a little bit of what we talked about. And on Wednesdays, there's a new show that comes on the John Fredericks Radio Network, ding, ding, called The Renegade Rant. Brendan Statler, Chris Saxman are on it. We've already broke down a little bit, but there was a couple games in particular. Buffalo Bills going for 2, missing out on that. The Steelers, Cleveland Browns game. The Steelers had a chance to wrap up the division and go to the playoffs there.
Can I start with the Buffalo thing?
Do it, yes.
Okay, I'm at MGM. I don't even know what day it was. Was that Sunday? Was that game Sunday?
I don't know what day today is.
I bet Buffalo, I don't know, -2.5 or something, -2 or maybe plus. I don't remember. You tie the game. The Philadelphia defense is gassed. They got their hands on their hips. They can't stop you. You run right down the field. They're done. You're at home. At home. You just went right down the field. They've been on the field the entire fourth quarter. You should have won this game. Stupid things were happening. Kick the extra point, go into overtime. You are going to win this game. The Philadelphia defense was done. Now, I understand my son is telling me, this is what he does. This is what McDermott or whatever his name is does. They go for 2. But, I mean, you gotta coach the game here. Their defense was done. They couldn't play any more. They were on the field the entire fourth quarter, kick the extra point, go into overtime, win the game. Why are you going for 2? That you got one play with a gas defense. I thought that was the stupidest call I've ever seen. And the
And
pitch
John,
Coach
the Eagles did not score a single point in the second half.
They didn't complete a pass.
No.
They didn't get a first down. You got an offense that was completely befuddled. No. Who goes an entire half without a complete pass or a first down? They went 3 and out on every single play. Why are you going for 2? Somebody can drop a pass, somebody can fumble, or you just miss the guy wide open. It was the stupidest thing I've ever seen. I should have won that bet and gone to the window and cashed my ticket. All you had to do, kick the extra point, go in overtime, win the game.
Yeah, Brandon, I could understand if it was like old school stuff. If it was like Tom Brady going against, Peyton Manning, and Peyton Manning, you can't stop scoring. But yeah, they didn't score a single point in the second half. Eagles win another game by not doing anything.
Unbelievable.
For half of a game. It just seems so Eagles. But man, you feel bad for these guys. Josh Allen has so much pressure on him, and he misses a routine throw.
Wide open.
Yeah, for him, a routine throw. But what do you think about that decision? And the AFC in general, and the Bills stumbling in.
Oh, hell no. I didn't feel bad for him whatsoever because I bet the Eagles that game, so I was pretty happy with that incomplete pass.
Yeah. Someone's got to cash.
Yeah, I mean, fly, Eagles, fly. But John's right. They should have kicked the extra point because the Eagles had absolutely nothing going in the second half. But yeah, it's kind of crazy to see how inconsistent the Bills are this year. I mean, this looked like this was their year with the Chiefs being out of it. And, really, in my opinion, the favorite in the AFC is the Denver Broncos or the New England Patriots, one of the two. It's amazing how Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills have missed their window this year. This is their best opportunity in a long time, and they're going to choke it away.
Trent, but say they get that too, and all of a sudden that they're not much of a different team, and in all respects, it's an NFC game. Really doesn't mean too much because they weren't going to win the division. Is it that big of a deal for Buffalo? I mean, it's something they can probably bounce back from. I would think this is what the Eagles do. They just kind of like annoy you to the point where you do something stupid.
Yeah, McDermott was definitely looking long-term here when he made that decision. I don't agree with it. I think I agree with John. They should have kicked extra point, went to overtime. If you win the coin toss, put the Eagles defense back on the field and make them tired, gas them out. The Eagles offense wasn't doing anything. But yeah, Josh Allen has a lot of pressure on him. I mean, his leading receiver is Brandon Cooks, who hasn't done anything all season. James Cook really wasn't getting it done on the ground. The Bills are it reminds me of Tom Brady in a few years he had with no receivers to throw to. I mean, he had just a bunch of no-name guys that he was getting it done with. I think Josh Allen can do that because he has his rushing ability. And this defense is just not up to par with what they have been, and I think they have to clean things up on defense if they want to compete in the playoffs.
Whether we like it or not, Chris, they're both in the playoffs. They're both going to probably be formidable in their conferences. Any of chance either of these teams win a Super Bowl or go with a Super Bowl?
I'm not sensing Super Bowl wins from either of these teams right now. I just don't. Buffalo just seems to be snake bit. And the decision to not you at home, you go for the tie, you play for overtime. You don't go for the win. On the road, you go for the win. That's just the reason it's a rule in football. But they screwed that up, and I just don't see either of them win the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, I agree. And it's a weird year. It's a topsy-turvy year. Does anybody trust? I'll throw this out to Coach Vince first before we go to the first break. Brendan mentioned it. Denver Broncos, New England Patriots. Do we trust them? They are new to the scene in regards to being Super Bowl contenders.
I'm not giving up on Buffalo, and what I'm saying, trying to allude to here is, I think all 14 teams, with maybe the exception of the NFC South champion and the Green Bay Packers, I think 10 of the 12 teams could win it all this year, and I think anybody in the AFC could win it all. Hey, who wants to play Houston right now?
Nope.
No. Could be the Steelers next week if they can pull off.
There you go.
I like Coach Vince. Thank you for including the Steelers as a team that could potentially win the Super Bowl. I do love that. I knew you looked.
Well, can I retract my statement?
No. You did it. We got to get
look, we beat the Colts when they were 7-1. We beat the Patriots. Come on.
Saturday Pick Show.
Maybe if a bunch of other teams went on strike, possibly.
No,
Coach,
it'd be
you
healthy.
put the Steelers as
Hey,
a
remember, I picked the Steelers to go to the Super Bowl, so don't be naysayers now.
Hey, man,
right?
I'm telling you what, don't give up on our Pittsburgh Steelers. We're going to talk about them and much more on the second hour. You're listening to this Saturday Wins Godzilla Pick Show. Stay tuned right after this break.
West Virginia Sports Nation gives you a top-of-the-mountain view of the Mountaineers sports landscape. See what's happening in all the sports, far beyond football, basketball, and baseball. Gymnastics, track and field, rowing, swimming and diving, golf, volleyball, tennis. More sports, more stories. If the Mountaineers play the game, WVSportsNation.com has it covered. Up-to-date and insightful articles written by Mountaineers for Mountaineers Nation. WVSportsNation.com. WVSportsNation.com. WV Sports Nation.
The best part about waking up in the morning is a great cup of coffee, and I get this every day with my 1775 coffee. It's rich, it's bold, best tasting coffee I've ever had. Single origin, farmed in Bolivia, 7,000 feet. It's always fresh, roasted daily. This is the best coffee you're ever going to get. Go to 1775coffee.com, 1775coffee.com. Promo code Godzilla, 10% off. It's going to make your day every day.
You woke up with a sore throat and a low-grade fever. You know you are getting sick, so here's your choices. You can get sicker and miss work. Try to see a doctor this week or sit hours in a crowded waiting room at urgent care.
I have a smarter option for you. Open your medical emergency kit. Match your symptoms to doctor-recommended prescription in your booklet and take the right meds now and get well faster.
This is not a first aid kit. It's like having an urgent care in your home. It includes doctor-prescribed medications to treat over 39 medical issues like respiratory infections, strep throat, pneumonia, UTIs, and more.
No waiting to see the doctor and no standing in line at the pharmacy. It's right here.
Every home should have at least one medical emergency kit, and here's how to order.
Order online fast and save $45. Your kit with prescriptions to treat common and life-saving illnesses is rushed to your door. Visit twc.health/Godzilla. Promo code Godzilla. That's twc.health/Godzilla. Promo code Godzilla.
John Fredericks, your Godzilla of truth, fiercely independent.
No ties to Wall Street, I promote Main Street.
The John Fredericks Media Network, privately owned and operated, on top of the issues on air and online.
Trucking the truth every day for 14 years.
The John Fredericks Show drives your morning, weekdays 6 to 10 a.m. Eastern. The only independent White House correspondent with live reports from the White House. Hit JohnFredericksRadio.com. Watch at JFMN.tv. John Fredericks, your Godzilla of truth.
Who's going to stop me now?
Nobody.
Did you know that somebody could literally steal your house? Yeah, that is a thing that happens. It is when a criminal forges your signature on one document, uses one fake notary stamp, and then spends about $30, $40 with the county recorder. They then take out loans using your home equity as collateral. And the worst part of it is, you don't even know it's happening until you start getting collections and foreclosure notices. Most people don't check on their home title because why would you feel like you needed to? But this right here is why you need to use Home Title Lock. They have a $1 million triple lock protection that helps keep your home and equity safe. It includes 24/7 monitoring with protection immediately, urgent alerts in case there's any changes in your title. Then if fraud does happen, they have a US-based restoration team that will spend up to $1 million to fix the fraud and restore your title.
Find out if you're already a victim. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now.
John Fredericks, he's America's Godzilla of truth. All week long, he's world-renowned for his proficient proclivity to prophesy the people's political picks with pinpoint precision.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Then, on the weekends, he gets with the guys that are pretty wise, and Godzilla wins. Godzilla wins, the sports picking show for winning dough. Money lines, parlays, over-under, the best plays. You choose the game, Godzilla picks the winners. Get expert analysis, exclusive insights, and have a little fun. When the game is on your mind and money's on the line, Godzilla Wins is your guide to picking winners. Godzilla Wins, on the screens of your TV and favorite devices, commanding radio airwaves far and wide. Before you make that play, hear what the Godzilla crew has to say. Presented by WestVirginiaSportsNation.com, it's time for Godzilla Wins, all across the John Fredericks Media Network. Oh, yeah.
For entertainment purposes only.
Welcome to Godzilla Wins Saturday Pick Show. I'm your host, Mitch Rogers, joined by Trent Connor, John Fredericks, Vince Mayoko, Brendan Statler. First hour, we broke down the college football playoffs. This hour, we're going to break down all the NFL games and all the implications on the line. I want to thank our lovely sponsors, WVSportsNation.com, who Jonathan Edwards and Brendan and Trent and I have just loved the we have the ability to write for this great website, WVSportsNation.com. We're also brought to you by WV The Torch and many other great sponsors that we will get to. But this week 18 NFL matchup, our slate of matchups, has a lot of implications. You have Carolina, Tampa Bay, and Baltimore, Pittsburgh. Winner take all, go win the division, get into the playoffs. You also have the number one seeds up for grabs with the Jaguars and the Patriots and the Seahawks and the 49ers. Coach Vince will be all over that one. But welcome to the show. Again, if you have a gambling problem, we like to do some gambling picks. You can listen to my disclaimer in the first hour or just go 1-800-GAMBLER. We'll just do that one for the second hour. I'm being a little lazy here. Welcoming Jonathan Edwards to the show. Jonathan, first of all, congratulations. College over. You're done. Master's program, everything out of the way. Now you're just the real world. What's going on?
Yeah. I haven't been on a Saturday show in quite some time, so it's good to be back. I'll be taking a news producer job down in Huntington, so I'll be writing, so it'll be a good time, and good to be done with school for real this time.
Has the potential.
Welcome you back to the Saturday show. We're bringing Chris Saxman back on as well, and a huge slate. We talked about the Buffalo Bills game last week, implications of going for two, and why would you do that in this era, especially when they were, running all over them and doing whatever they wanted to in the second half of that game. And another frustrating game that we brought up for the Renegade Rant show that you can hear right on this network on Wednesdays at 12:30, by the way. The Pittsburgh Steelers had the opportunity to win the division playing the hapless 3-win Cleveland Browns, but that was more of a trap game, I would suspect. Chris, I'll let you go into that. And it sets up this Baltimore Ravens Steelers Sunday night football game.
Wait. Somebody's got feedback going on here somewhere. Either a phone's on or something, but we're getting a reverberation back. You guys check your mics. What's going on?
I feeling a little bit too. Chris,
Jonathan, it's got to be your situation because we didn't have this before you were added. So
just mute your line just mute your line and see what happens.
There you go. Thank you.
Chris, what do you think about this predicament the Steelers put themselves in? This is John's Super Bowl champion. He has them going to the Super Bowl. He gets upset at us. He is on our chat when he sees how mad we get. But, when you had everything in front of you, you could have rested all your starters, a banged up old team. Now they have to play a winner take all. They crapped the bed last week against Cleveland, but they've moved past. They're ready for this one, right?
Well, they're healthier. Siamalu's back on the offensive line. Derek Harmon's on the defensive line. Calvin Austin, wide receiver 2's back. They're still missing DK Metcalf for his stupidity. And I like TJ Watt coming back healthy after 3 weeks off. He's going to be staring at Lamar Jackson, who I think he's in Lamar's head because he's coming off the left side. And when Lamar looks up, he's looking right at TJ. And that is an unhealthy factor for that offense for Baltimore. I think Mike Tomlin schemes very well against Lamar Jackson. The question is Derek on Derek? Can Derek Harmon plug the middle and stop Derrick Henry? I think that's the key to the game.
All right, and we're going to get to that game a little bit later. Just wanted to get Chris's initial reaction on the upset loss to Cleveland. We'll break down a little bit.
I still haven't recovered
the record.
That's my reaction. I'm apoplectic for tomorrow, and I won't be able to sleep tonight. That's how I am.
So I'm going to go to one of the first games on the sheet. Coach Vince. There's a lot of people that were upset. They're throwing out this word East Coast bias that the Steelers Ravens get the Sunday night prime time, and all you West Coasters are out there just boo-hooing because Seattle, San Francisco might have two better teams. It might be a way better matchup, but you guys are stuck on Saturday night. But what a matchup. Seattle, San Francisco. We've talked about San Francisco being able to get this done with all these injuries, and Brock Purdy, my Lord. I talked about him for a few years on here. I loved him. but he's finally starting to show why they believe in him.
Yeah, I mean, if you've seen his performances, he came back from the toe injury. He's played at a high level, very high level. And, it's not often in an NFL season where you have two teams competing for a division title and two same teams competing for the number one seed in their conference. Boy, huge matchup. Huge matchup. And this is kind of like, I know John, he's a big, I think your dad talked about defense wins championships, right? Well, we're going to see if that holds true because you have the high-powered octane 49ers offense against the Seattle Seahawks, who's probably a top 5 defense. So we're going to see a little give and take tonight, no question about it. Can the Seahawks shut down the 49ers high-powered offense? And we know that the 49ers struggle on defense, and that was pretty evident against the Chicago Bears, where arguably the game of the year so far, where it was an absolute shootout on Sunday night. So this is a game I'm really looking forward to seeing.
Bringing Jonathan Edwards right into the fold right now. Christian McCaffrey this season has become a workhorse, averaging 27 carries a game. This is a guy that's coming off of 2 Achilles injuries. You would have thought that they would have given him maybe 10 to 20 at most. But wow, that's proven to be what they needed while they've been injured. Break down this matchup a little bit. What are you looking for? What are you excited for? Seattle, San Francisco.
Well, I saw Seattle. I was down in Carolina last week, and I can tell you that defense is as billed in person. They are fierce. This is top offense, top defense, and McCaffrey has been, he won me my fantasy league, so big shout out to him. But I just think it's a great matchup, but I don't know. I think San Francisco is going to take this one. They want that home, they want that top seed, and with Super Bowl 60 being in Santa Clara, I'm going to take the Niners.
Brendan, could it be that magical run they keep talking about? They have all home games to run through this. Could this be that? And San Francisco has been so dominant and so close to winning championships. They just haven't been able to get over that threshold yet. Could this be their year?
I think it's certainly possible. I'm picking San Francisco to go to the Super Bowl this year. This team is for real. And I know that Seattle's a good team too, but I cannot believe that Seattle's actually favored in this game. It's going to be a close game. It's going to go back and forth. It's probably going to come down to the wire. These are the 2 best teams in the NFC. But, man, San Francisco is unreal. The injuries they've had to deal with. Christian McCaffrey, possibly comeback player of the year. The Niners are for real this year. I think they get it done.
Niners are for real. Trent, is Sam Darnold for real? Because it feels like if he was, then Seattle is everyone's favorite to win it all.
Yeah, Seattle's offense with Sam Darnold has been questionable at times this year. He hasn't really gotten it done. They've been relying on their rushing attack a lot, which helps their defense because it bleeds time off the clock. Keeps them off the field, keeps them energized. But like the one stat that I look at every week, I bring it up a lot, is third down offense versus third down defense. San Francisco converts 51% of third downs, which is first in the league. Seattle gives up 32% of third downs, which is first in the league. So it's going to come down to third downs.
Chris, what's it going to come down to for you?
What Trent just said, his analysis is spot on. But I like Seattle in this game. I just think they've got some mojo. I think they got momentum. I like Seattle, like the way they play defense. Their point differential is almost 3 times what San Francisco's is. So if you're looking at analysis, who's more than likely to score versus give up points, Seattle has the edge here.
John, it seems like a tough spread. I can't tell if Vegas is trying to fool. I don't know what they're doing here because this game is so compelling and so evenly matched. Where are you going?
Well, it should be a pick 'em game in Santa Clara, but I like San Francisco here. This team is on a roll. Their offense has been just unbelievable. They're getting some of their players back. And look, as good as Seattle's been, this is a tough test for them. They have to go into Santa Clara. They got to win this game on the road. That place is gonna be packed. But whenever you count the 49ers out, they just keep winning and winning and winning. I think they win this game on Sunday night, tonight.
Tonight, I cannot wait.
It's gonna be a fun game.
Yeah. It's what a fun week of football. By the way, we've had bowl games, now we get to roll into I'm going with.
You got so many meaningful games this week. It's kind of fun.
It's crazy. I wish there was one less meaningful game on Sunday Night Football, but whatever. We'll get to that one later. All right, I'm going to go with Seattle just because everyone else is going San Fran. That felt right. I'm going to go with Chris here. All right, Carolina at Tampa Bay. It starts off the slate 4 or 4:30 p.m. today. It comes on. It starts off the Week 18 slate of football games. Tampa Bay is favored by 3. Whoever wins this wins the division and goes to the playoffs. Trent, I will start with you. Two teams that have been, up and down. Tampa Bay was one of the hottest teams to start this year, obviously, with the way that we're. But Carolina has shown, and Bryce Young has shown that they're starting to figure it out a little bit over here. What are you thinking? And could we have an under 500 team?
Yeah, Carolina's been playing well recently, and Tampa Bay's been playing pretty poorly. They lost their last four of their last 5.
Yeah.
They're not a team that's inspiring a lot of confidence, but a lot of the bets are on Carolina this week, as you might predict, and that makes me like Tampa Bay. I think they get it done through the air here. And I think they can stop this Carolina rushing attack on offense.
Coach Vince, this could be, we know what we're going to hear. This is going to be a 500 team or an under 500 team, and we've had some pretty good play in the NFC North and the NFC West with other teams that are probably a lot better than these two teams, but this is how it works. This is the way it is, and you have to reward conference or division champions in my mind. What do you think in this game?
Well, I think an interesting note here is if Tampa Bay wins, Tampa Bay does not clinch the South. They have to wait until the Atlanta New Orleans game. And if Atlanta wins, then Carolina backs in. And I think is it fair to assume currently, as we're talking right now, the two best teams in the NFC South are New Orleans and Atlanta?
Yeah, I think so.
I'd agree.
Yeah, I think so.
And I don't trust Tampa Bay right now, so I'm going Carolina.
Chris, what are you thinking here?
I don't in this game. I mean, Carolina beats Tampa at Carolina. Now they're back. I think they're back down in Tampa right now, right? That's the way it is. The 3-point spread last time for you. So you're looking, and that was just a couple weeks ago. If you go, they won by 3 at home and they're favored by 3 on the road. I think you just go with Tampa Bay. Just if you're just from not knowing the teams and how they match up and the schemes and whatnot, I would just take Tampa Bay to cover that spread.
Jonathan, could be Mike Evans' last game. He probably retires this year. That's a pretty big deal down there. Where are you going with this game?
Yeah, well, he's retiring because he's not as effective. I love Carolina's in this game. They go to Tampa. Tampa's just losing every week where they have a 6-7 game losing streak. You can't bet a team that's just not winning. They're finding ways to lose, which is always a scary situation going down the stretch. What have they lost? 6 in a row?
Yeah.
Carolina wins this game outright. They get in the playoffs. As Coach Vince said, the problem with Tampa is they win the game and then they got to sit on Sunday and hope that New Orleans beats Atlanta, because if the Falcons win that game, Carolina backs in. I mean, that's how ridiculous the NFC South is right now. But I think Carolina can end this talk by going down there, winning this game. Bryce Young finally has to show us that he's an NFL quarterback. I think he'll have an opportunity to do that Sunday. I'm going to take the Cats +3.
Yeah, and John brings up a great point. The wide receivers definitely getting long in the tooth. Mike Evans probably going to retire. Chris Godwin looks like he's lost a little bit of a step. And Egbuka, who was the best.
They're not any good anymore. I mean, it's kind of like Kelsey on Kansas City. These guys lose a couple steps. They're just not as effective.
Well, and unfortunately for them, Egbuka's hit a rookie wall for certain. He was one of the best receivers on the planet for 9 weeks as a rookie, and you can't find him anywhere. Where do you think, Jonathan? Where are you going with this one?
Again, like Seattle, I saw Carolina last week, and I know they lost by 17 to Seattle. I'm telling you, from the spot, it was 3-3 at halftime, and if it wasn't for a terrible face mask call, that call was probably a 12-point swing. So I like Carolina and Tampa Bay as much as I love Baker, as much as I love Godwin, as much as I love that entire roster pretty much, just from watching them. But yeah, I've got to go with Carolina here.
Man, that's where my heart is. I love Bryce Young. Brendan, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I don't trust the Bucks at this point. I mean, like John said, they find ways to lose. They're in free fall basically. I think this game is just going to mean more to Carolina, and I think they come out on top.
That's where I'm going too. I'm going to go with Carolina here as well. It's more of my heart rooting in there. I feel like they may have something cooking, like they're building on something. Tampa seems to have peaked about week 8 or 9, and maybe for their franchise completely. All right, if you're in the Northern Virginia area, if you're around Virginia, you want to watch the games, but you also want to maybe do some other table games. Rosie's is one of the coolest places, John. It's right down the road from both of us. You're a little more north, I'm a little more south. We're about the same distance away from Rosie's Gaming. You can watch all the games there and then also play other games. Tell everyone about it.
I'm going there this week because I got to go. I'm doing a debate for the so-called Republican Party of Virginia chairman's debate on Thursday, 8 to 10 a.m. Everybody can tune into that. That's going to be live on the radio in our studio in Richmond. So I got to go there on Wednesday. So you can bet that I'm going to be at Rosie's in Richmond on Wednesday night. I'm going to be there probably on Thursday after the show, and see if I can win a little jack for the playoffs coming up. I'm going to win there because they got the biggest payouts and the biggest jackpots. Rosie's Gaming. Go to rosiegaming.com if you're in Virginia or anywhere near it. Biggest jackpots, biggest payouts, lowest take in the country is what you get at Rosie's Gaming. Plus, just a great atmosphere. They don't pump oxygen in. There's windows in there. There's no smoking. It's a little bit of a different atmosphere, not like your typical casino with, I mean, I went to, and I was telling you Sunday, we went to MGM Grand, right? And I go to the blackjack table. I can't find a table under $50 on a Sunday afternoon. Like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm not going to bet $50 a hand. What the hell? I'm not a high roller. I'm looking like, where's the $15 table or the 10? They don't have them. Screw that. Go to Rosie's, have fun, win money. Great place to be. Go to rosiesgaming.com, rosiesgaming.com. Plus the food is fantastic. The service, great atmosphere. Just about having fun. rosiesgaming.com. Check it out.
Godzilla Wins Pick Show.
I mean, can you imagine going on a Sunday? It was Sunday afternoon because I ended up watching the football game. And there's not a single blackjack table there was a 25. I sat down, and as soon as I sat down and put a couple hundred on the table, they changed it to 50. I just took my chips and split. Like, who can play $50 a hand? And that's all they had. Unbelievable. That should be regulated. That's just wrong.
Regulated by free, capitalism. We need to put another casino.
I know, but people are in there putting the $50 a table. Like, who can do that?
Hey.
Like, to go to a $50 a hand table, you need at least $1,500? The hell's got that?
I'll teach you the lay of the land. I grew up here. We go to Charlestown, West Virginia. We just go across.
Yeah, but they don't have $50 minimums. That to me was outrageous. I just was stunned by it. I just left.
Rosie's. You should go. And you've been on this holiday kick with all your family.
I went to Rosie's instead.
Go to Rosie's. Have some fun. You're listening to the Godzilla Wins Saturday Pick Show. I'm your host today, Mitch Rogers, joined by Trent Connor, John Fredericks, Chris Saxman, Vince Mayoko, Brendan Statler, Jonathan Edwards. We almost have the full Brady Bunch board. We were two slots away. We could have done it. Looking up, down, left, right. Here we go. All right. This is where the people need us, guys. These are the games. Okay, we can talk about the ones where winner take all for the division. But the people, the degenerate gamblers, need us now, John, for games such as New Orleans as Atlanta. Playing for nothing. Well, maybe playing for something. Playing for things that nobody cares about. 3.5 point spread is Atlanta is the favorite right now. It is at Atlanta. The over-under is 44.5. Chris Saxman, I know you will be glued to the set for this game, and you have all the insight to tell our viewers and listeners what to do here.
You've got to be kidding.
Come on, man. Why went you first?
That's fine.
You texted me and said, go to me first.
The hell I did?
Oh.
Stop lying. Stop lying.
Oh.
No, this is
teams in the South.
Look, I think New Orleans just has a little bit more juice. I think they play a little bit more, oomph. I like New Orleans in this game to cover that spread.
Jonathan Edwards. Tyler Huff. I mean, they've got some things going on down in New Orleans. What's going on?
Well, I'm a really big fan of Tyler, and I think the Saints are playing the best football out of the division. But let's not forget the Falcons upset the Rams last week, and it's at home. I'm taking the Falcons in this one.
Hey, Brandon, that's the first game I went to Jonathan that he wasn't at. He's just this real journalist that goes to games and watches them.
You're not going to like what I'm about to say here in a little bit.
Well, I don't like your jersey, your Patriots crap. We'll get to that in a little bit. Brendan, looking beautiful, West Virginia hat, just Penguins jersey for our radio listeners. We'll set the context out there. Brendan, this is a barn burner right here, Atlanta, -3.5. What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, Jonathan just kind of stole it out from under me here a little bit. I mean, that this is a Falcons team that just beat the LA Rams, who was a serious Super Bowl contender and still is to an extent. It's hard to bet against Atlanta after that performance. That was one hell of a performance against Matt Stafford and the Rams. I think Atlanta covers.
Coach Vince, call me crazy, call us a hot take. If they had Kirk Cousins all season long, I think Atlanta is that team that is the best in that division. But you called it out. You said these two teams are playing better than the other two that are going for the division. Where are you feeling this game? Atlanta -3.5, over under 44.5.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. On this date, the two best teams in the NFC South are the Saints and the Falcons. But hey, how about Bijan Robinson?
Dude.
Is there a better back in the NFL right now than him? He was electric on Monday night against the Rams. And I see him running for 150 yards in this one, if not more. And boy, what a good dude too. Just the interviews with him, and kind of a little side note to this. He trains in the off season with Christian McCaffrey. I guess they're really good friends. They've been training with each other, and boy, he's as good as any running back in the NFL right now. So I'm going.
How long was that run he had against LA? Was that an 80-yard touchdown
93,
rush?
Yeah.
93.
93. So
have you seen when you see your fantasy championship going down the tubes with every yard? I was like, oh, I am completely done. Trent, New Orleans at Atlanta. Kudos to their coaches or whatever. It's actually an intriguing matchup. It seems like the teams are playing for something, playing for the future, or roster spots next year. But Bijan is obviously playing for records. And how do you see this matchup? What are the Sharps thinking? What are we doing here?
Yeah, these two offenses are clicking right now. The money's actually on the Saints, despite the Falcons' big win on Monday night against the Rams. The Saints are getting about 67% of the money on the spread, and that makes me like Atlanta. The Saints give up the 23rd most rushing yards per game, and like Vince said, Bijan probably the best running back in the league right now, and Tyler Algier behind him could start for almost any team in the league. I think that 1-2 punch gets it done at home. I like Atlanta to cover the spread.
All right. I always like to go to a Fredericks. Been talking about Atlanta. I don't know why. It's one of your all's favorite teams. I've never really figured it out yet, but let's go here. New Orleans, Atlanta.
It's Jack's favorite team.
Jack's favorite
after he abandoned the Titans like the turncoat he is.
He stayed down south too.
But he stayed with the Astros, so he gets a pass, right? He gets a pass.
Okay.
But it's kind of BS. But whatever.
Hey, karma got him. It's okay.
Whatever.
Look,
okay.
To your point, John, the Titans almost won a Super Bowl about 25 years ago. So I mean, I can't.
If his arm was a little longer,
we were a foot. We were 12 inches away from winning that game, and Fisher said he was going for 2. The defense was gassed, and all McNair had to do was run the ball in. He saw the guy open, but he had a lane. They weren't going to stop him. He runs the ball in. Defense was gassed. They were throwing up on the sidelines back then. That's what their coach said. The old guy. Whatever his name Vermeil said they were throwing up on the sidelines. They were so gassed. McNair just has to run that ball in. They go for 2. They win the game. Having said that, I love Atlanta here.
You agreed with that 2-point play?
They would have. Fisher said I had already had the play. I was going for 2 because their defense was done. They were puking on the sideline.
Yeah. And there's this
John, don't ever let yourself be told that you never gave me any presents at Christmas, because this rant right now has just been almost sexual to hear you talk about this 25 years ago to get the second place finish 25 years ago.
I was at the game. Jack and I were at the game, and we thought it was a touchdown from our angle. We were all cheering. and it was just a horrible way to end that thing because the Titans would have had that Super Bowl win. Having said that, I love Atlanta minus 3.5, and I'll tell you why. Kirk Cousins is playing for something. He's playing with passion. If he was a quarterback from the beginning of the season, they're in the playoffs, win the division. Secondly, their coach, Raheem, is playing for his job. The team is motivated. They're at home. They're coming off a big win. And basically, this is a meaningless game for the Saints, as far as I'm concerned. Their pick is kind of locked in here. I love Atlanta, minus the 3.5. I think they win this game handily.
Is that the game where you guys almost filmed Home Alone 4 and left Jack in the parking lot?
No, that was we took him to the Tampa. It was in Tampa. What was that, Ravens Giants?
I like we've been doing this for a long time now. I have some history I can pull from places. This is
all I know is Bill Bradley and I came back. He was with two of our other guys. We come back. They had rented a pickup truck in Tampa, and then they bought all the grill stuff. So they were having a cookout after the game in a parking lot. And I saw my son, Jack, sitting on the roof of the pickup, eating ribs on the grill, and his face was covered in ribs. And I'm like, where's my son? And they're like, oh, he's up there sitting on top of the truck.
Norman Rockwell.
That's all I remember. If I took a picture of that, it would have gone viral. Back then we didn't have that, but I really should have done that.
USA,
on top
baby.
of the truck, eating ribs with his face covered in it.
Post game.
Ravens won the game. I had bet the Giants. Ravens won the game, and I was walking back, and they had them up there. They were playing. So they went to the store, and they bought beach chairs, grills, a big radio boombox thing. So they're playing that. And then when they're leaving, well, they couldn't take that back on the plane. So they just went to somebody's home, like two blocks down. Some people were out there and said, would you, do you mind taking all this stuff? So they gave him the beach chairs, the grill, the charcoal, everything. They gave it all to them and drove off.
I love this country.
I do too.
This is the greatest country ever.
You listen to the Saturday Godzilla wins.
I mean, Maduro was probably going, this is a pretty good deal. I mean, I get to go to America now, right?
Right, take it.
All he has to do is find a way to Minneapolis. He's good to go.
Well, they just bring him in and they just strap him in and they let him watch Cleveland at Cincinnati. First torture treatment that we're getting allegedly. All right.
What's worse than the water torture? And then to play it in a loop.
Right. So we've got two other teams similar to New Orleans and Atlanta that they seem to be playing hard for some reason. I'll take it. That's good coaching, whatever that is. It's Burrow that wants to play for the fans. But Cleveland at Cincinnati. Cincinnati is favored by a whopping 7.5 here. The big storyline going into this one is going to be Myles Garrett. He is one sack away from that sack record. We talked about that ad nauseum with the Steelers game last week, and to our detriment, maybe focused on it a little bit too much. Joe Burrow has come out and said, I'm playing my game. Of course, I'm going to sit in the pocket. If he's there, I'm not going to take a sack, but you know what? I'm not going to just dump the ball just in case. Trent, I'll start with you. 7.5 over here just seems like a huge spread, especially after Cleveland, beats like one of the best teams in the decade last week. So what are we doing here?
Yeah, I think Cleveland showed a pretty good outing last week against Pittsburgh, but it doesn't matter. Cincinnati's still getting 69% of the bets and money. I like the Browns to cover this game.
Chris Saxman, you know these two teams very well. What do you think?
It's the half here, isn't it? That's the hook. It's like 7.5. That's the problem. But it's not a problem for me. Cincinnati, I think, just has superior offensive skill players, and I think what Pittsburgh did show, but Rodgers couldn't get the ball to the middle of the field against their linebacker who was injured. I think you'll see a much more efficient Cincinnati offense, which has a great offensive pass game. I think they do cover that 7.5.
Jonathan Edwards, what are you thinking on this game? Joe Burrow is playing hard, and it also seems like Vegas doesn't have much hope or respect for Shedeur Sanders with this line.
I'm telling you now that Garrett will get the sack on the first drive, and they won't play after the first drive. Cincinnati, when there's nothing on the line except worsening their draft pick, is the best team in the league, hands down. I would say this is one of the safest bets of the weekend. When it doesn't matter, they're going to put up 40. I guarantee it. And I feel so bad for Burrow. Like, he's one of my favorite players. It's more than just playing because, he was injured for most of it. He's playing because he still wants to like football. So I'm going to take Cincinnati in this one.
Coach Vince, it's a very good point Jonathan just made. This could be Joe Burrow's last game with the Bengals. No, not a lot of people are talking about that. So he's motivated.
All right, pump the brakes. Maybe not. Let's hope not. Let's hope not.
Hey, Jonathan, just let me take your angles and then add to it and attribute it to you. It's cool.
Well, as Jonathan said, okay, this is going to be Burrow's last game as a Bengal. But and because of that, I'm taking the Bengals. Hey, I think the Browns last week made their season. And I think you're going to see a big letdown other than Miles getting maybe a sack or two, and that'll be it. I like Joe Burrow and the Bengals big time in this one.
Brendan, you know what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping the Steelers win, and he does not get that sack record. It's going to be my best day of my life. First of all, I hate Myles Garrett. You almost destroyed Mason Rudolph's career with your fake stuff. I hate him. Brendan, just want to throw that out there. Where you going?
I agree, and I'll go a step further. I hope the game ends in a tie and they both lose. I hate both these teams. So
0-0.
But no, the Cincinnati, yes, Cincinnati, that's their appropriate name, is going to come out because like you guys mentioned, they always come to play when it doesn't matter anymore. Cleveland already had their Super Bowl, beating the Steelers. They're not playing for anything really other than Garrett's sack record, which he will get. But that's about the only thing that's going to go Cleveland's way that day. Cincinnati's going to roll.
I went to coach right. John Fredericks, coach of our John Fredericks radio network. Okay, go ahead. What are you doing here? You watching this one?
Best bet of the year.
I knew it.
If you pick Cleveland.
Best bet of the year. This is my best bet of the entire season. Cincinnati -7.5. This is a grout. They're going to put 45 up, 6 touchdowns, 2 field goals, could be 48. Cleveland had their big game. They won their big game. Good for them. I agree with everything you guys said. Myles Garrett will get a sack for whatever it is, the season leader. He's done. Burrow is going to put points up on the board. They're playing. They're having fun. The Bengals are having fun. They're just out there throwing a ball all over the field, doing what the Bengals do. And this team, whoever said it, when they have nothing to play for, is when they're the most dangerous. This is going to be an absolute rout at home. Burrow is going to go out with a bang. He's going to make a statement. Cleveland's done. This is going to be a rout. This is my best bet of NFL non-playoff season 2025 right here. That's 26, but 25 season. Bengals roll.
All right. After that,
Mitch, Burrow to Pittsburgh next year.
Man.
Don't do this to me. Don't do this.
That is the funniest thing.
We have a lot of games to get.
Off on it.
The Bengals can't. No, they can't do it. Look, he's a franchise quarterback. He's going to stay there.
Why would you do that? Just curious.
Well, wait for who? Yeah,
Why'd you hate me?
I mean, they would sell the team. They would sell the team before trading him to Pittsburgh.
Exactly.
So he can be hurt.
Not going to happen.
His career.
Hey, just let me dream. We haven't had a decent quarterback.
He's under contract. He's under contract next year.
Don't worry about it.
Why are you guys banging on Aaron Rodgers?
No. I'm saying Rodgers is the first good quarterback we've had since Roethlisberger.
10 games left too.
We should sign him to the max. 5 years.
Rodgers probably isn't going to be back next.
You guys are bitching and moaning again. You guys got all you got to do is win your game at home on Sunday night, get in the playoffs, and go for there. Stop your whining for
God's sake. 5 games.
I'm not whining. I'm just asking, is Burrow under contract next year?
I got a feeling.
Yes, he's under contract for another 4
Answer the damn
years.
question. Don't bring it up without answering the question. Is Burrow under contract next year?
I just
he is under contract.
What was the
You have
answer?
to trade him.
For several years. Yes, he is in for.
Oh, he's not
18
going to
years.
Pittsburgh.
He might demand his way out. And now they're never going to send him.
They're not
It
going to
won't be
do
to
that.
Pittsburgh.
They're going to look. Everybody was hurt. They had a tough season. Okay, they're going to turn it around. You know how the NFL is. You get a few picks. You get some guys off free agency. They've got a decent salary cap.
He
I mean,
doesn't
things turn it around. Look at the teams that have turned it around in a single season. This is what the salary cap does. Look what the teams that have turned it around. There's several of them. New England Patriots won what, 3 or 4 games. Now they're, favored to go to the Super Bowl, right? Any of these teams can turn it. So no, it's not going to happen.
Well, you need to send that film to Burrow. It's him. His light has been dimmed, John.
I just love getting Saxon fired up.
Spark is gone, and you know what reignites the spark? Tomlinisms. It'll just get you going.
Dude, we have 12 games in 20 minutes. Kick it in the gear.
Let's go, Minnesota.
Thank you.
Hey, calm down over there. Green Bay at Minnesota. This game should mean something. It feels like it means something. It means diddly squat. Green Bay's already got, they know what their fate is. Minnesota knows their fate. Minnesota is favored by 7.5. The over-under is a whopping 35.5 on this game. Speaking of future Steelers quarterbacks, Malik Willis, Chris Saxman. He'll trying to showcase his stuff.
Shut your mouth. Malik Willis is never coming to Pittsburgh. We all know he's not coming to Pittsburgh. We got Will Howard in the backdrop. Stop.
But he will be.
Are we still talking about the Steelers?
No,
I'm taking on this other game. Look, I'll go first.
Minnesota wins.
Malik
Who cares?
Willis.
I have no pick in this game. Who gives a rat's ass?
Malik Willis
That's my
will be the
pick.
number 1 free agent quarterback going into the offseason. That's why I'm bringing it up. He will be showcasing something. Trent, will that be enough? Malik's going to be playing his ass off. What's going on here? 7.5 seems a lot.
Yeah, Malik Willis is questionable with a shoulder injury, but I think he'll probably play. Okay. I think Emmanuel Wilson has a big game on the ground for the Packers. I think they lean on their rushing attack, and I think they cover the spread against Vikings.
All right. Anybody else?
Let me chime in and say Green Bay is planning to start Clayton Tune. I don't even know who that is.
Oh, dude, I like
so
that.
Malik is out. Or he's not out, but he's not playing. He's not starting.
Steelers quarterback Clayton Tune. Coach Vince, where are you going with this game?
No, game's meaningless for the Packers. I'm taking the Vikings.
All right, Brendan, real quick.
Yeah, Minnesota. John's favorite quarterback's going to win.
Yeah, it makes sense. Malik's out. That's why that's 7.5. Jonathan, did you pick that?
That's the half.
Yeah. Pay attention to that, I guess. But in the famous words of a former president, like him or not, Minnesota. That's what I'm taking.
There we go. All right, let's moving on. Dallas at New York. Game means nothing as well. Let's go down the line. Dallas is favored by 3.5. Over under 49.5. Trent, I'll go with you first.
Yeah, New York's actually getting 73% of the money on the spread here. I think Javonte Williams is out for the Cowboys, but I don't think it matters. I think they handle the Giants here, and I think they win and cover the spread.
Brendan, Dallas at New York should mean something, means nothing.
Dallas is going to win big.
Bigly. Vince, where are you going?
Yeah, Dallas scores points. Take the Cowboys.
Cowboys. Chris.
How about those mediocre Cowboys? Take them.
Yeah, Jonathan, where are you going to go?
Yeah, Joe Milton started and almost ruined our draft last year for New England, and he is likely starting for Dallas at QB. So I'm going to say he's going to hurt their draft pick. Well, yeah, he's going to hurt their draft pick a little more. I think Dallas takes this one.
Oh, I like that. John, where are you going?
Dallas blowout.
Dallas blowout. All right, let's go. Tennessee at Jacksonville.
Let's go.
Yeah, Jacksonville favored by 13.5, playing for a potential 1 seed, right? Is that right? Over under 47.5. Chris Saxman. Big spread.
Titans cover.
Titans are going to cover. Coach Vince, it's a big spread for the NFL.
That is a big spread. Jacksonville wins, but Tennessee covers.
Ooh, Jonathan, what do you think?
I got the same thing. Tennessee will keep it within 10, but I'm still taking Jacksonville.
Brendan.
I agree. Jacksonville wins, but Tennessee will cover.
Oh, man. John's only rule is if in the NFL, you bet, Trent, where are you going? Where are you going?
Yeah, Jacksonville is one of the best teams in the AFC this year, and I think they're getting slept on, not talked about enough. I think they cover the spread, and I think they handle the Titans this week.
Ah, there we go. That a boy. That's what the NFL likes, right, John? The favorites, just bet them.
The most dangerous game that Jacksonville has is Sunday against the team that everybody's counting out that is playing much better football. That really should have beaten the Saints last week. They had a lot of issues going on. They got one more game to play. This team is playing for something. If they win this game, it really puts something on their season. I'm going to go with the upset. I think Jacksonville is overlooking this team. Their defense has played much better. They got a lot of very young players. 8 of their starters on defense are rookies. And Cam Ward plays better every week. I like the Titans here plus 13.5. I'm also going to bet the money line big. I think they have a shot to win this game.
Ooh, what's the payoff there?
Playing for the AFC South, they win, they're in. If they lose and the Texans wins, the Texans get the AFC South division. And
look, Jacksonville's getting in the playoffs either way, right? So they're in the playoffs. This is not the game for them to. They're going to be overlooking Tennessee. Tennessee wins this game, the whole face of the season for 26 changes. That's why they're dangerous.
No, they're just something. 13.5, just they're begging for you to take Tennessee. That's why I'm going to go with Jacksonville as well with Trent here. All right, Indianapolis at Houston. We just spoke about what's on the line there. Another big spread because of that. Houston is favored by 10.5. The Colts have been Phillip Rivers in it. Now they've done with that. So they are, one of the hottest teams in the NFL to start the year and now have just imploded. Houston playing for the division. Chris Saxman, what are you thinking?
Houston at home by 10 over a fading Colts team. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Coach Vince, what are you thinking on this one?
Yeah, two teams heading in opposite directions, obviously. Houston are out.
All right, Jonathan?
Riley Leonard is going to take an absolute mauling today, so I've got Houston.
Riley Leonard making his debut. Brendan, what are you thinking?
Houston wins big. Colts can't do anything right now.
Houston, big time. Trent?
Yeah, as much as I want to be contrarian here, the Colts have lost 6 in a row. I don't think they can lean on Jonathan Taylor in this matchup against the Houston defense. Give me Houston.
That's what I was going to say, John. Jonathan Taylor would have to do an awful lot for this not to be a blowout. What are you thinking?
Texans big.
Texans big. I'm going with the Texans big here. I want everyone to rest up, get ready, because we're going to go rough shot, firing through to the end.
Go.
But beforehand, you got to rest up, right? The best place to go to get anything to slip.
Go to mypillow.com. Look, Mike Lindell's been a supporter of us forever. He's a founding sponsor of Godzilla Wins. I want to thank him for that and thank his team, Dawn Curtis. But I tell you what, if you don't, there's so many things there. Just go to mypillow.com, promo code Godzilla. There's so many great things. Now, if you have a pet, so let me tell you this quickly. For Christmas, we got Sammy the MyPillow pet blanket. Right? We put it under the tree. He's not left that in 5 days. That's his favorite blanket. He's got blankets all over the house. Every chair except mine, which is the one he sits on because there's no blanket. Every chair's got a blanket on it for Sammy. The cat is so spoiled. But now he's got his MyPillow blanket. If you have a pet, this thing, they're going to love this MyPillow pet blanket. You want to get that, plus the slippers, plus the comforter. Everything we have is outfitted by them. Just go to mypillow.com, mypillow.com, promo code Godzilla. You got the greatest deals there. And buy something now, you get a full money back guarantee through March 31st. Can't beat it, mypillow.com, promo code Godzilla.
All right, you're listening to the Saturday Godzilla Wins Pick Show. I'm your host, Mitch Rogers, joined by Trent Connor, John Fredericks, Brendan Statler, Vince Mayoko, Chris Saxman, and Jonathan Edwards. A full slate for you. We're running down the NFL games, giving all of our picks. The next one on the slate are the New York Jets at the Buffalo Bills. New York Jets do what the New York Jets do this season. Buffalo Bills have been a disappointment. They are currently in the 7th seed. They could rise as high as the 5th seed, but no matter what, it's their last game probably at Highmark Stadium in Buffalo. Buffalo is favored by 8.5 here. Chris, we will start with you. Over under 38.5. Not a lot of scoring predicted here. Where are you going?
As a result, I like the Jets to cover the 8.5.
Oh, going with the Jets 8.5. Yeah, Coach Vince, it's a weird one. 7-5 ranking doesn't really mean much to them. So McDermott's got to weigh whether or not he plays the starters the whole game.
Yeah, but I think Jets are just awful. And last game at Highmark, otherwise known as Rich Stadium, take Bills Mafia in this one.
Yeah, Jonathan Edwards. I know that, that's a rival of yours, but, that's a classic stadium. You've had a lot of New England games over there. What do you think?
Well, that's the thing is I'll be quick. As much as I dislike the Bills, I do like Josh Allen, and I loathe the Jets. They are my least favorite team, and they can't do anything. I don't care if you put me out at quarterback for the Bills. They will cover, or they will not. The Bills are going to destroy them, is what I'm saying.
All right, Brandon Jonathan says he would have thrown and made that 2-point conversion.
I would make that bet on Jonathan. The Bills are going to absolutely roll the Jets. It's not going to be close.
Trent, where's the money going? Sharps.
Well, follow the money on this game. 40% of the bets on the Jets, but 63% of the money on the spread. I'm following the money. I'm taking the Jets.
Going with the Jets. John, where you going?
Bills.
Going Bills. Quick, simple, easy. I'm going to go with the Bills as well. I think they play for something. I think McDermott's going to have them playing for momentum and to send that stadium off in the right fashion. All right, the next game on the slate are the Detroit Lions at the Chicago Bears. Talk about the difference of 2 seasons from last year. Detroit went to the, got as far as the NFC Championship, lost or the week before lost to the Commanders, and the Chicago Bears are the talk of the town right now. Chicago is favored by 3, over under 50.5. Chris, I will start with you on this. Is Chicago for real, and do they keep it up today?
Chicago is for real. The Bears cover.
All right. Coach Vince, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I think they still, with the Bears, have a shot at the number 2 seed, right? So take the Bears in this one.
Bears playing for something, Brendan? You going
yeah, Bears cover.
Jonathan, what are you thinking here?
Yeah, I think the Bears take care of business, and I hardly ever put in my 2 cents gambling-wise, but pound the over today.
Ooh, the over-under. Trent, -3 doesn't seem like enough. What's everything happening? Give me some analytics.
Yeah, some big bets on the Bears. 47% of the bets, but 61% of the money. I'm going to follow the money again. The Bears win on the back of DeAndre Swift.
John, what are you thinking?
I mean, you can't bet the Lions, right? The season has been such a disappointment. It's been a disaster for them. A lot of people picked them to go to the Super Bowl, maybe win the whole thing. They can't even make the playoffs. They were putrid down this stretch. All the shine off the Dan Campbell apple is gone. Bears here in a rout.
All right, I'm going to take the Bears as well. Let's move on. Coach Vince, you know about this game a lot. Los Angeles Chargers at the Denver Broncos. Denver playing for it all. Denver has been, spectacular. As far as Bo Nix goes, they are favored by 12.5, over under 37.5. This is at Denver. Tough place to play. Chris, what are you thinking here?
What the hell's with this spread?
Right?
Trey Lance is starting at quarterback for the Chargers.
Yeah, that's right. It's true. They're not playing for – I didn't throw that nugget out there.
Okay, well.
Chargers aren't really playing for much.
I first looked at this, I was like, what the hell? Oh. I still like the Chargers to cover. That's a lot of points on a game that might be meaningless for one, but there's a lot of guys playing for next year, for their contracts, and I just, that's a lot of damn points. I'll take the Chargers now.
A lot of points, Jonathan. I'm seeing a trend here with these teams that are playing for everything, playing against teams that aren't playing for much. Huge spreads today. What are you thinking?
I think the Chargers at least cover, because we've seen all year Denver's going to get that 1 seed, especially with Herbert out, and they want that 1 seed. Can't blame them. Still, though, I think they cover because, the Broncos beat the Jets by like 2 points. They beat the Giants by 1 or 2 points. I think this will be a close game, but Denver takes care of business.
All right, Brendan, quickly, where are you going?
Yeah, Broncos win, but the Chargers cover.
Chargers cover. Coach Vince, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I just Chargers are playing their AAA team today. Broncos have the number 1 seed in their sights. I think they can beat the Chargers by more than 2 touchdowns. Take the Broncos.
All right, Trent, what are you doing? Where are we going?
Yeah, Trey Lance has not inspired any confidence in me. I like the Broncos. I'm going to lay the 12.5.
Oh, John, are you a Trey Lance fan?
No, big time. Look, Denver wins this game. They get home field. You got to go through Denver. LA's playing for nothing. That's why they're resting. Harbaugh, a lot of their other players are going to rest. They got a shot to make a run in the playoffs. This is a meaningless game for them, but it means a lot for Denver at home because they can get home field advantage. So I like Denver. Minus the 12.5.
I like Denver as well. I'm going to skip Kansas City, Las Vegas for now. If we have some extra time, we'll come right back to it. But Arizona at the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams playing for the number 1 seed, obviously. The Los Angeles Rams favored by 7.5 here. 46.5 is the over-under. Chris, I'll start with you.
Rams.
All right, Rams. Jonathan, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm taking the Rams. I don't think they can get the 1 seed, though. I think that's up to the game tonight.
Yeah, my bad. Yep. The division, right? Coach Vince, what are you thinking?
Yeah, after tonight's game, the Rams may know if the Niners win, the Rams are locked in at 6.
Right.
If the Seahawks win, the Rams are locked in at 5. So tomorrow's game is essentially meaningless.
Brendan, where are you going to go?
Rams win.
Rams win. Trent?
Yeah, the Cardinals have looked awful. I can't bet on them. I'm taking the Rams.
John, it feels crazy that the Rams aren't playing for much right now. Just the 5th or 6th seed. They've had a great season. Where you going?
You can't go in the playoffs having lost 2 in a row to 2 bad teams. Like you just can't do it. I think the Rams win this game, and I think they win it handily. They got to get ready to make their run. They're going to start tomorrow to do that. The game last week in Atlanta was an embarrassment for them.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to go with the Rams as well. Must win for them. Can't go in with 2. Miami at New England. Now, this one is for the number 1 seed in the AFC. New England is favored by 10.5. Over-under is 45.5. Chris, we're seeing a similar thing here. Miami's not playing for much. New England playing for a lot. Big spread. What are you thinking?
Oh, New England covers this.
We'll go to Coach Vince next. We'll save Jonathan.
Yeah. New England routs the Dolphins. Take the Patriots.
Brandon, what are you thinking?
I agree. The Patriots dominate.
Trent?
Yeah, a lot of off-the-field issues going on with the Patriots this week. I think they respond with a definitive win against the Dolphins.
Yeah, Jonathan, what's going on over there? Stefan.
Hey, you never know. Anytime we get good, anytime. It's like clockwork. Anyways.
Offensive holding on Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
Or offensive holding on
he's
Stephon.
He's got a chokehold on the division. Anyways, no, I'm tired of the whole schedule thing. I get it, but I think Drake May tries to solidify his run for MVP, and I think that this will be the first time since 2016 that we sweep the Dolphins if we can win. So I'm taking the Pats.
Drake May is in his zone. John, where are you going with this?
I don't know. It's so sad when you get these NFL players that just go home. Just go home and don't beat up your girlfriend. That's all. Just go home. Don't beat up your girlfriend. Try to take care of your family. I just don't know why these guys keep doing this over and over and over. It's so sick. And I have no pick in this game. If I had to bet it, I'd certainly bet New England, but I have no pick in this game. It disgusts me what these guys do. They're making all this money. Just go home. Shut your door. If you want to get drunk or high, just shut your damn door, pull the blinds, and don't beat up your girlfriend. I mean, that's all you got to do. They can't do it. Forget it.
I'm taking Miami just for that. We're going Miami with this one. All right, Washington at Philadelphia. Philly is playing for the number 2 seed, but they may rest some starters because it doesn't really mean that much to them. Philly is favored by 4.5. It is in Philly, over under 30.5. Quickly, Chris, where are you going with this one?
Oh, 4.5, easy covered by the Eagles.
Easy cover for a team that can't move the ball in the second half. Coach Vince, what do we think?
Playing Washington.
Hey, do we know, is Philadelphia and the Bears game, is that at the same time?
Yes.
I think so, yes.
Okay. Because I said that would have an impact, obviously, if they knew ahead of time what had to happen. But, yeah, I think having a 2 seed is better than having a 3, so I'm going to take Philly in this one.
Brandon, what do you think?
Eagles win big. Easy cover.
Eagles big. Jonathan.
Yeah, this being at home, and I think Philly's offense needs a pick-me-up before the playoffs, so I'm taking the Eagles.
Yeah, Trent, where are we going here? Mark Rippon starting for the command? No.
I love being on an island. I'm taking the Commanders.
Commanders, John, right in our backyard. What are we doing?
No way you can bet Washington. The team is old. They packed it in. Philadelphia went an entire half without getting a first down. They didn't complete a pass. I mean, that's just not going to happen again. If you're going to make a run in the playoffs, you have to win this game handily. Washington is just all they want to do is go home now and end this nightmare season they've had. Remember, this is a team that a lot of people thought would get into the Super Bowl. I think the Eagles here win this game big. So I like the Eagles minus how much is it? 4.
Yeah, 4.5. Commanders like to screw up their draft picks, though. I'm going with the Commanders here. For some reason, they'll just mess it up.
Forget about it. They've packed the season in, dude.
All right, the last game of the year, regular season.
Love it.
Baltimore going to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Down. Here we go for the division. Winner takes it all. Lamar Jackson is coming back for the Ravens. That was announced yesterday. He has practiced all week for the first time in about 10 weeks. And it's Aaron Rodgers. Let's see if this is a swan song or if he can go to the playoffs here. We have the Baltimore Ravens going to Pittsburgh. They're favored by 3.5. Chris.
That line is insulting. Money line Steelers.
Money line Steelers, Coach Vince. If everything is on the line, legacies. I mean, someone could be fired, right? Like some coaches can. I mean, whichever one loses might not be around the next time. Lots of storylines here. Coach Vince, what are you thinking?
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers possibly his last chance to make the playoffs. Take the Steelers in this one.
Oh, Jonathan, what are you thinking here? Old man Rodgers, can he get it done?
When I said you weren't going to like what I was going to say, I'm going to the game tomorrow. I've been wanting to go to a Ravens-Steelers game as much as I hate them. That's been on the bucket list, and I lucked out with some really cheap tickets. I'm taking the Steelers. Lamar's 3-6 as a starter against the Raven or against the Steelers, and it's in Pittsburgh in prime time. Give me the Steelers.
Oh, we're bringing real journalism to this show. He is going to cover the game for us, Brendan. What are you thinking?
I think Steelers will win this game because they will find a way to get into the playoffs before letting us down one more time. So it's going to happen. Write it down.
Trent, are the Steelers?
That's such a Yinzer call.
hey, I know you guys are used to me being positive, but I'm just being real here.
Yeah,
okay?
No doubt. He kept it real this time.
Yeah, you're a ray of sunshine.
I am. I'm a delight.
Are you following his sunshine all the way to a Steelers victory, Trent? Where's the money, by the way?
62% of the bets on the Steelers, 53% of the money. I like the Ravens in this matchup. I think Derrick Henry gets another 30 carry game, and they win in Pittsburgh.
Hey, John, when Derek Harmon is in the game, they give up 100 yards less per game. He wasn't in last time. What are we thinking here, John?
And we were still beating them early.
Yeah.
You know, this is got to be one of my favorite games to watch ever, and I'm so upset that it's at 8:20 because like I can't stay up till midnight and get up at 4 a.m. and start my week, so I'm kind of screwed. Maybe I can get through the first half, but I have to go to bed. But I love Pittsburgh in this game. I love him at home. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to beat Lamar Jackson. He's going to have a great game. This guy is still a Hall of Fame quarterback. Somehow the Steelers seem to beat this guy. But when I saw the spread was 3.5, like I can't read without I have to put my glasses on because I'm like, I can't be reading this right. That I'm getting 3.5 shows absolutely no respect for the Steelers at home on a Sunday night in a game in or out. No respect for the Steelers fans. No respect for the towels. No respect for the stadium. No respect for the city. This is a lack of respect. And I think the Steelers, this is a bigger game than just Tomlin or getting the playoff. This is for the city of Pittsburgh. This thing is going to be jammed. It's going to be cold. Everybody's pissed off, and they're being treated like dogs here. This is a decent football team with players coming back. What? Lamar Jackson practices 2 times, and all of a sudden he's like God's world beater. Screw you, you dirty ratbirds. I love the Steelers plus 3.5. I think they win the whole game.
And Vegas puts a lot of emphasis on the suspension of DK Metcalf, obviously, in this one. But yeah, I'm with you here. I just don't think that the Ravens are going to have enough. The Ravens defense is putrid. They're not going to have the same pass rush that Rodgers was afraid of last week. And Rodgers normally doesn't have back-to-back bad games.
Exactly.
The Steelers have played 3 of 4 games really well. Cleveland, that's a trap game. That's a tough game. Erase that from your memory. Do what you've done the last month. Get to the playoffs and then make some noise.
Let's go.
Steelers taking them all the way, money line as well. And I want to thank you all. I know we ran a little bit over today. You're listening to the Godzilla Wins Saturday Pick Show for my crew, Trent Connor, John Fredericks, Brendan Statler, Jonathan Edwards, Vince Mayoko, Chris Saxman. I'm Mitch Rogers. Please stay tuned for Jay Delsing's golf show that comes up next. Maybe a little abbreviated. We took a few minutes off of it. But see you all next week. Hopefully previewing the Steelers.
Last pick of the game, last pick of the week. Chevron for their outstanding performance in taking out Maduro. I'm just kidding. Chevron has a big operation in Venezuela. Look at that stock.
USA.
See y'all next week. Wu-Tang forever.